Dona Nobis Pacem, the traditional version. Back to the start. So that's the basic arrangement. It's pretty close to what I have written here. I made a, like I said in other videos, I never read my own arrangements. I just play things. But I stayed pretty close to the notes there. If you're accompanying somebody singing this, if you got singers doing this, then you'll probably want to capo it on the 5th fret for the traditional. It's in F usually, and that puts the highest note at a D. So if you were singing it, it would be something like Dona Nobis Pacem Pacem. Dona Nobis 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 Pacem. So you'd probably want to do that for your singers. If you're doing it with instrumentalists, you can leave it down in C because they'll probably enjoy C major and no sharps and flats. Anyway, the arrangement is pretty simple. A lot of simple classical guitar kind of riffs here. I use sixths, and I use the interval of sixths and interval of tenths. And I use this F chord. So we'll talk through it real quick here. So just and the key is keeping the melody strong. So know your melody. Dona Nobis Pacem Pacem. Dona Nobis Pacem. Because I have a lot of inner voices, and right now I'm using finger picks, because my fingernails are a little rough right now, and I don't want to wear them down. So with finger picks, it's even more difficult to keep the inner voices subdued. But that's important on something like this. Otherwise, it'll sound like this. So you want more keeping the melody up. Hopefully you can tell a little difference there. It's hard with picks to do that. You can do it better with your fingertips. You can be more subtle. Anyway, back to the music. C chord, just simple arpeggio, then a G7 chord like this with the second. You're not playing the 6-string bass, you're playing the note B, so. And that allows you to put your first finger back on the 7th of the note, the F on the 1st fret. And then interval of tenths with this little G note droning in the middle. And you want it subdued, not. You want to keep that note soft. And then fourth measure, little G sus4. Now on this, it ends with the fourth finger on the third fret of the first string. And I often will do a glissando here going into that fifth measure. And sliding up to my little favorite cheating F chord here. And then come back down the run in sixth. Whoa. Oh, I don't like my fingering there. In that fifth measure, I would question my fingering there. I would go first and second instead of second and third on beat 2. And slide down with that. First and second, third, then open, and then the 4 and 3 is good. So that, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, well, yeah, I did this arrangement 12 years ago. I don't know what I was doing then. And sometimes I'll even slide down, slur the first 2 eighth notes. I like that sound. So you can do that here. And then measure 6. And then the bass run going down in tenths. And then keep that run going down. Okay, so version 2. This is the trickier version. Starts on a C chord with the little finger on the third fret of the first string for the high G. And then the G, it's actually a G7. Again, you simply lift your first finger off, trade play, switch strings with your second and third fingers, and you have this G7, because you don't need the G in the bass here. And again, I think we've already done, well, now we're coming down this is like measure 3 of the piece, but this, in measure 11, we're going a third above it, so we're in the melody with the other part of the round. So again, keep that G, the drone note, subdued. Now, we're going up to this F chord that I do a lot, which is first finger on the third fret of the fourth string, third finger on the fifth fret of the third string, little finger on the fifth fret of the first string. And we're going to get that B, which gives it a dissonance. And you want to make sure that's subdued, and that's real hard. It wants to stand out like everything on my guitar right now. Don't do that. Anyway, you want to try and keep that a little subdued. And then the next chord is the hard part. You're going from this one. So I slide down on my first finger, put my second finger on the third fret of the first string, and I move my little finger over to the what? Oh, the tab's marked wrong here. In the arrangement, don't look at the tab is incorrect. That second eighth note should be fifth fret of the third string. Fourth finger on the fifth fret of the third string. I may have to actually go in and fix this tab. There. So that's and the reason I do that, I want to get this dissonance again, because like in jazz, there's a common saying in jazz guitar: if you make a mistake once, do it again, and then it's improvisation, or then it's jazz. So that dissonance deserves repeating to make sure that people know that it wasn't an accident. Because it may sound wrong at first, but when you hear it the second time, it sounds all right. then you do the running tenths. Now, if that measure 11, 12, 13, 14, the one that's a little tricky, is too hard for you to play, come off it like this, and then just drop down into this C chord with the E in the bass. And it won't be a big deal, but it'll be easier for you to play. Now the third variation. Now this is the low part here, so you got to bring out the G7 there. Bring that run up. And the melody is the high G and then it goes down to the low G. Pacem. So you want to bring that note out too. And then just a short bar, like the F chord, but the short form. C. And on this G, next to last measure, you get the third finger. And you can change. You can make that change. You're doing the fourth finger on the third fret of the melody note is the open second string. Then your little finger on the third fret of the second string, and then quickly move that over to the third fret of the first string. You should have no problem making that sound legato. It shouldn't be. Practice just moving that little. What I'm doing here, if you can see. I'm moving my little finger back and forth. Otherwise, you could, coming off the measure 22, you could do that. You could play the bass G with your second finger and put your fourth and third and fourth fingers down on the second and first strings, respectively. That's it. Dona Nobis Pacem. Grant us peace.